I made a huge mistake when I started this Polaroid 365 project, which is that I tried to estimate the amount of money I'd be spending on Polaroid film. And let me tell you, my estimate at this point, way off. Way off. This project is enormously expensive. I've just had to quit counting at this point because it's too upsetting to even try to count how much money and packs of Polaroid film this project is gonna be. I had 1 week about 2 weeks ago where I shot through like 4 or 5 packs of film because every time I would take a shot, I wouldn't land where I wanted to land. So I just had to keep trying until I got the photos that I wanted to get. And I'm happy with that set of photos so far, but it was pretty expensive to get there, honestly. So I've basically given up counting how much money this project's gonna cost at this point. 365 days of Polaroids, it just is what it is. I want them to be good, so it's just gonna cost what it's gonna cost at this point. So other than that, how is this project going so far? Well, I am 30 days in. I have made it through a month of shooting a Polaroid daily. And I'd say this project is going pretty well so far. Honestly, in some ways, it is easier than I thought it would be because there's no editing required. Once you take a photo, you're kind of done. You have nowhere else to really go with it, which is why it's getting expensive to shoot Polaroid film, because if I don't like a shot, I have to, shoot it again. But again, the goal of this project is to shoot a organic aspect of my day. And that is a challenge because I'm trying to shoot not only just an organic aspect of my day, but I'm trying to shoot it in an interesting way. So the biggest challenge of that is staying open to just what happens, to stay open to what comes my way and be ready to capture it. So I just have to trust that that moment's gonna come, and generally that moment has come when I've trusted it to come. So that's good. So what cameras have I been using for this project? Basically the main camera I'm using is my Polaroid i2, and I've really grown to love this camera. It's quirky, it's got its quirks. I know it's a little controversial. Some people talk about having beef with it a lot, it seems, with the price of it, which is like $600. And truth be told, I think the price is well worth it. I love this camera. It has every feature I could ever want: double exposure, manual exposure, auto, aperture priority, shutter priority, self-timer, and it just works in the way I need it to work. The other camera I've been using is my Polaroid SX70. My father-in-law gave me this camera. It feels like I'm gonna break it every time I open it. I did a video a few months back where I reskinned it because the leather was kind of rotting off, and I just love this camera. I love how SX70 film looks. Now, a lot of people convert these to 600 speed film or 640 speed film, Polaroid 600 film. A lot of people like to convert it to that. And I would say I'm anti that because I like the colors of the SX70 film in particular. The problem is it's like 170 ISO, and I don't shoot low ISO super often. So I really only shoot this when I know I'm gonna be in like bright daylight, and it's winter, so a lot of times I'm really breaking the i2 out. I had some infuriating moments with it, but I'm really starting to get good with it, get a handle on it, and I think by the end of this year, just even more natural to use than it's becoming. Okay, so we talked about the cameras. Let's talk about the photos. So we talked a little bit about the first week, so I won't go too deeply into that. So I did double exposure with the Polaroid. I think this is the one I actually used with the Polaroid 600 yellow and black film. And I really like that film. I have 1 pack left, and I'm gonna shoot it, I don't know, later. Maybe that'll be a day 100 kind of thing. And we talked about, the story of going to the woods, Weird Laws with Greg, waiting room, black and white Polaroid film. And so that's, you've seen up to here. Again, I post them every week on Instagram, so if you want to keep up with this project week to week, then just go to my Instagram at Will Malone. Okay, so one thing I'm trying not to use as a crutch, but I do find very fun, is Polaroid abstracts. This I shot while driving, and this is a Polaroid that I think turned out really cool. Just the fogginess. What I love about the Polaroid i2 is that because it can focus to close-up objects, I can get some of that bokeh kind of blur in my double exposures that I can get on like a DSLR or SLR camera. And I really enjoy that. This is what I'm kind of talking about with shadows right here. It's a photo of my daughter. It was a super rainy day, and I just wanted it to be mostly negative space. In fact, I put that as the caption, which, I don't know, a little on the nose. This is the photo I learned that Polaroids turn green if it's too cold outside and you don't warm them fast enough, like in your pocket or whatever. I took this photo, threw it in my camera bag, and pulled it out and was shocked to see it turn green. I think this one actually looks cool green, but you know, I'm trying to avoid that for most of my shots. So here we go. This is one of my favorite double exposures. And I have alternate versions of these behind it sometimes. So this one, I think it isn't as good because I like how the tree sideways forms a sort of circulatory system of sorts. And I think that that's really cool. I also love the blue and black, the black of the frame. Really works well when there's a lot of cool and blueness in the Polaroid. And again, more shadow. See, I mean, I just like the shadow. You see her face. You understand what's going on here, but it's mostly dark, and I think that's cool. This is a cat that like lives in my in-laws' house, just like a tiny. I thought it was cute to have just like the subject so tiny in frame. My daughter named her Bootsy, so that's adorable. Here is interesting photo. So. This I shot at Art Warehouse in Chattanooga, where I do my printing and I'm there all the time. And it was just really icy and snowy when I got there. And so this is just a scene of a spot that I used to look at every day when I worked there full time. And I don't know, it's a personal photo, I'd say. So I wouldn't say this photo is for you. Like, you may look at it and be like, oh, that's cool, that's interesting, that's fine. But for me, this spot has a lot of meaning. So, you know, it's a 365 project. You gotta make room for that. And so, you know, I'm shooting other ones along the way. So this is in Art Warehouse, and then I have some alternate, you know, double exposures I'm trying. But when I feel like they're not telling a good enough story, I pick the one that's the strongest. This one, you got to throw a selfie in every once in a while, and I just like the double exposure nature of this, the ghostliness of it. I was feeling particularly groggy that morning because I was about to get on the road for 5 hours, so woke up groggy, hadn't had coffee yet, and yeah, so that photo fits that pretty well. And I just like the warm tones of this one. So yeah, I would say one thing I'm challenging myself with the Polaroid i2 is trying to shoot close-up objects. And so this was at a film photographer meetup that we have every couple weeks in Greenville, and somebody had a Mamiya RV67, and I was pretty close, and I wanted to see if I could nail the shot and also get it center because of the parallax effect of the looking through the rangefinder. This is a shot I took in the coffee shop as well. Very shadow heavy, like I said. So I like the vibe. This one turned out a little darker than I had hoped, but it's still pretty cool. And so yeah, another Polaroid abstract. I love black and white Polaroid film, and I just think this is cool. This is, again, we're in winter, so there's a lot of winter skeletal trees going on, and shadows and whatever. So I really like this. And I wouldn't say this was even an accident. I didn't quite know how this was going to turn out, but I had a guess as to how it was gonna go. Yeah, shadows. See, this one's a killer one. This is my dog Kevin Bacon Malone, and we have this light that comes in through our blinds in the morning during the winter, and I will admit I did position him on this patch, and he happened to turn his head this direction, and it just worked. So my selection process on these is kind of iffy. It's usually I have my wife look at them and say, which one you think works better? She's not a photographer. She has an outsider's perspective, so I want to know what she thinks about certain images. So when I'm not sure on what image is going to be strongest, I go ask her. I'm like, okay, what image do you feel like tells a good story or is more appealing? And these two were a good example of that. So basically, in this is the first one I shot. It was a rainy day. This is outside of our house, and I shot it through the windshield. So notice the blue tint on the top. That's the windshield. And the whole shot is super cool and blue, and I really like how it turned out. And it's a double exposure abstract, right? Well, then I went and drove down the road, and I shot this one, and I thought, oh, the Domino's sign through the back windshield would be kind of cool. And it's a foggy double exposure as well. And so I kind of gravitated toward this one. But she told me this one was the stronger shot. And I argued with her about it, and I argued with myself about it. And by the end, of the day, I came to the conclusion that this is, in fact, the stronger shot. So yeah, I think that's all I'm going to go through today. Just so you know, I'm keeping all of my Polaroids in this album, and I'm sure I'm going to have a ton. I already have a bunch of like my old Polaroids are in albums like this, but these are actual just Polaroid albums that I buy on Polaroid's website. If you look up Polaroid albums on like Amazon or whatever, you're going to get a lot of Instax albums, and obviously these won't fit because they're big and square or 4:3 or whatever. And yeah, today's day 30, and I'm excited. We've hit day 30, and we're continuing on. I'm excited for February. Got some travel coming up. We're gonna have some interesting new settings for the Polaroid 365 that isn't just indoors in my house, because I feel like my house has really become a character in this project, and I'm ready to like get out of my house. It's been rainy, sucky weather. I want to go places, and so very soon that will be happening. So thanks for watching. You can follow my Instagram and see these weekly at Will Malone. Every Monday I post these. You can go to the Polaroid specific Instagram account that I have where I post all my B-sides at RoidRage72, and please subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you soon.